One of the biggest questions new hockey parents ask is, why are players constantly jumping on and off the ice? It almost looks random. Just when you're starting to follow your child's shift, they're skating to the bench and someone else jumps on. Then 30 seconds later, it happens again. If you're new to hockey, it can feel like players never stay on the ice long enough to do anything. But once you understand how line changes happen, you'll understand one of the biggest parts of how hockey works, because line changes aren't random. They're one of the reasons hockey is the fastest team sport in the world. Hockey is different than most sports. Think about sports like basketball, soccer, football, baseball. Most players stay in the game for long stretches. Some stay the entire game. But hockey is completely different. Instead of one group of players staying on the ice, entire groups rotate constantly. A new forward line comes in, then another, then another. The defense changes too. Every shift is like handing the baton to the next group. That constant rotation keeps the game moving at an incredibly high pace. The biggest reason players change lines is simple. Hockey is incredibly demanding. Players are exploding into sprints, stopping, starting, battling along the boards, changing directions, skating backwards, accelerating again. And skating uses muscles almost constantly. There are very few moments to recover. Players also wear helmet, shoulder pads, elbow pads, gloves, pants, shin guards, skates, and all of that equipment adds weight. Now imagine sprinting over and over again while wearing it. That's hockey. Most players simply can't maintain maximum effort for very long. Here's something that surprises many parents. A typical hockey shift lasts only 30 to 60 seconds, sometimes a little longer, sometimes shorter. The goal isn't staying out as long as possible. The goal is giving maximum effort. When players become tired, everything slows down. Their skating slows, their decision making slows, their reactions slow. Fresh players almost always have the advantage. You'll hear coaches say first line, second line, third line. So what does that mean? A forward line is made up of one center, one left wing, and one right wing. Those three players usually play together. When they come off, another group of three replaces them. Then another group, then back to the first group. Defense usually rotates in pairs. Two defensive players play together. Then another pair comes on. Instead of changing one player at a time, most teams rotate entire groups. That keeps players familiar with one another. Oftentimes, players are changing while the game is still going. This might be the most confusing part. Players don't wait for the play to stop. They often change while the puck is still moving. Why? Because waiting for a whistle would leave exhausted players on the ice. So instead, players skate to the bench. The replacement jumps on the ice, all while play continues. This is called changing on the fly. It looks chaotic, but it's actually very organized. Players communicate constantly. They make sure someone is replacing them before they leave. Done correctly, the team barely misses a beat. Good teams don't just change whenever they feel tired. They look for smart opportunities. For example, when the puck is deep in the offensive zone, that is a great time to change. After dumping the puck into the opponent's end, or when their team has control. They avoid changing if the other team is rushing towards their net, or when they are in their defensive zone. Changing at the wrong time can leave your team very vulnerable. So line changes are part of strategy, not just fitness. Experienced players are constantly thinking, can I safely get off, or do I need to stay on for one more second? Here's a simple trick. The next time you're watching a game, don't watch the puck for one shift. Watch the bench. Notice how one player heads off, another jumps on immediately. The next line is already waiting. You'll start seeing the rhythm. You'll notice players sprinting for 40 seconds, then skating hard to the bench. Once you understand line changes, the game suddenly feels much less confusing. One of the reasons hockey feels so fast is because fresh players are constantly entering the game. Instead of slowing down, the pace keeps renewing itself. That's why hockey never seems to stop. The players change, the puck changes possession, the direction changes, and the game keeps flowing. Once you understand line changes, you'll begin understanding hockey itself. What confused you the most the first time you watched hockey? Was it line changes, offsides, icing, or just trying to follow the puck? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're looking for Hockey Explained Simply, for hockey moms, hockey parents, and new fans, subscribe to the Hockey Village, because hockey isn't as complicated as it looks. You just need someone to explain it one piece at a time.